let's get into Second Chance Cinema Club.
Let's do it.
And talk about the adventures of Buckaroo Banzai across the eighth dimension from 1984. Now, this film,
Yes.
I'll be honest, I'm going to hold my hands up and say I had never heard of it before you mentioned it last week. Now,
Because you're not as cool as me.
I'm not as cool as you. I was only born in 1982, so that's not an excuse because you were born after me. This film never got a cinematic release outside of North America.
I didn't actually know that.
No, it had a box office takings of $6.3 million. I don't know what the budget was.
Oh, less than that, I suspect.
I would suspect it's less than that. Although I don't know. There's a
Some big
massive
names.
cast.
Yeah, some very
Massive
big
cast.
names
To
in
name
it.
but a few. So you got the star, who's Peter Weller, who plays the aforementioned Buckaroo Banzai,
Yeah,
who,
that's him.
if you're not aware, he is the most 80s character you will ever see in your life. He wears many hats. So
Yes.
he is a brain surgeon,
Yeah,
a rock star,
yeah,
an adventurer,
yeah.
and if all that were not enough, perhaps most notably, he's the inventor of something called the oscillation overthruster,
That's right.
which allows him to pass through solid matter to the eighth dimension.
I know. It does all that.
I don't know what the eighth dimension is. I don't know what happened to 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Just
but
skip those ones.
Just skip those. Don't need to go there. They're boring.
This is the 80s. Everything has to be
Exactly.
ramped up.
We live on three
Fuck those other
dimensions.
dimensions.
We're just going to go skip past the rest. They're dull. The eighth dimension
Yeah.
is where it's at. Anyway, so he's Paul Weller. Not Paul Weller, Peter Weller. Paul Weller's
He
not in
might
this.
No,
Paul
I think
Weller
I
is
actually
not-
preferred the music of Buckaroo Banzai than I would to the Jam, though.
Really?
Maybe. I do like some.
To
Jam
be
songs.
fair, some of the guitar stuff in this was actually quite
I
good.
thought it was cool. I liked it.
So anyway, that's him. That's Peter Weller,
Yeah,
who we also
Peter
know from
Weller.
RoboCop,
RoboCop.
and more latterly from Star Trek Into Darkness.
Ooh.
He was the admiral in that. I can't remember his name. John Lithgow.
Admiral Buckaroo. I think
No.
it was.
John Lithgow,
John Lithgow.
who I have to say
Dumbledore.
in this looked like he was having a whale of a time.
Oh, he was hamming it up to the
He
max.
was enjoying himself immensely. Ellen Barkin,
God.
who plays Penny Pretty, who
Oh, yeah.
I remember more recently, I say more recently, it's probably about 12, 13 years old, this film now, but she was in Ocean's 13. I remember her from that, yes. And Jeff Goldblum,
Yeah.
who plays Jeff Goldblum.
Like he always does.
Basically, if you can imagine a Jeff Goldblum character, that's who he plays in this.
Yeah. In the 80s as a cowboy.
Yes, weirdly. But also a surgeon.
Yeah. They all do multiple. They all also have to carry guns for some reason.
They all, yeah.
Even on stage, they're all carrying guns.
Very much. There
I
is,
love it.
There
It's
is some
crazy.
other very notable science fiction and fantasy actors. Christopher Lloyd is in this.
Oh, that's right. He is. Yeah.
As one of the plot spoilers, by the way. But
Yeah.
after what we say from this, it may be that if you haven't already seen this, you might not go out and watch this. Plot spoilers. So Christopher Lloyd is one of the Martians.
Are they
Are they
actually
Martians?
from Mars?
Are they Martians? I assume they're Martians. Based upon
No, I'm sure they said they're from Planet 10.
whatever they are. I don't give a fucking care.
It's like accuracy goes out the window.
Yeah. And also Clancy Brown's in this. Clancy Brown, Star Wars connection with Clancy Brown.
Yes,
He's in Ahsoka.
he is.
Yes. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about
There's a
that.
lot of famous people.
That's all I've got to say about that.
What? Well, whilst we're on the topic of John Lithgow,
Yes.
he's meant to be Italian in this.
Yes, he is, and he speaks a bit like this, and he's an Italian alien.
It's pretty shit accent.
Dr.
Which
Emilio Lizardo.
I could forgive if I didn't notice in the credits he actually had an Italian dialect coach assigned to him for this film. So, was he
But
listening when he was getting this coaching? Or?
I did think though there were a lot of things in this that just pointed to, like films in sort of from the 70s and the 80s, particularly the 80s and maybe
Yeah.
early 90s. There's a lot of things in this that point to what what a bigger place the world was. And like the fact that the lead character, which I didn't mention actually, Buckaroo Banzai,
Yeah.
he is half American, half Japanese.
Yes.
Now, I don't want to get into anything about ethnic origins and what people should and shouldn't look like.
No.
But Peter Weller does not strike me as someone who looks like
It's not a half Japanese
from Japanese parentage.
DNA in
But we
there.
won't get into that. But the main reason I think it's odd is like, oh, what can we call him? Half Japanese. Oh, we'll name him after a tree. We'll call him Banzai because despite the fact that there's probably not a person in Japan called Banzai, but what do we know about Japan? Oh, well, they've got mountains, they've got fast trains. Oh, they've got little trees as well. Let's call him Banzai. That'll do. That'll do.
Yeah.
And yeah, the idea that John Lithgow's got an Italian accent is at best laughable.
Yeah. I hope his English accent's better when he's Dumbledore.
I think he's come a long way since then. Actually, I think John Lithgow is one of those people that I think. What was I watching a while back? Cliffhanger. In that, his
Sly
accent.
Stallone film.
Yes,
I forgot he was in that.
He was in that, and I actually had to look to check that he wasn't English because he does a very good. His diction is very good. He's very very well spoken.
He is very well spoken.
So
always enjoyed him in Third Rock from the Sun.
And there were lots of digs about, like, they've made jokes about blowing up Russia as well.
Yeah, very Cold War.
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't get too many jokes like that anymore. It's a bit close.
Still applicable.
I mean, it's a bit close. It's a bit close to the bone, though.
But yeah, you wouldn't. You just definitely.
Lots of lazy stereotypes about other cultures, I think, is what I'm trying to get to.
No, definitely, and also that kind of 80s trope of, the way to do proper science stuff is to drive a car really, really fast. Like Back to the Future. It's like to travel in time, you have to go 88 miles an hour. To travel dimensions, you have to have a rocket-propelled car that goes hundreds and hundreds of miles an hour. So
who's he kidding?
very 80s.
If it was anyone other than Buckaroo Banzai, I think he was joking.
He puts on the hacky macky. I can't remember what it's called. The headscarf thing. It is called something like that. I'm not just saying words.
I don't know.
But he puts on the. I mean, you probably associate it more with kamikaze pilots, I suppose. But he puts on one of those before he goes supernova.
Yes.
That's a little nod to his heritage.
Quite. I don't know about you, but I if it's coming across in my language. By the way, did I mention the fact that on IMDb this has got a rating of 6.2?
Oh, you probably did, because I looked that up when I offered the film.
Yes. So
yes.
I've mentioned that. We'll come back to that in a bit. I don't know if my speech so far is giving away the fact that I perhaps
disagree with that value.
I perhaps disagree with that rating. But
we'll find out in which way quite soon.
It did make me think, like, what would a 10-year-old me think of this?
Yeah.
And I think I may have, at that point in my life, enjoyed this.
I think so.
To give it a fair crack.
It did have vibes of, if you'd have watched this around a mate's house at a sleepover in your younger years, you might have thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
lots of guns and aliens and lasers.
Guns and aliens, and just basically a central here, right? That the one. I mean, as a 42-year-old me, I have a very different feeling about it because I ask a few more questions nowadays, and the idea that, like, no one seems particularly stressed about the fact that Earth's about to be destroyed. They're just like, Buckaroo will sort it out, won't he?
Yeah,
our hero.
That confidence.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it?
It is what it is.
I'll explain briefly why I picked the film again.
You bloody better do. Do a good job of it.
All right. So the reason I wanted to watch this film and see what it was like is because it is referenced in a book and a movie that I like, which is the Ready Player One book and movie. Which is chock full of 80s references, even though it's set in the future. But if you watch it, you'll understand why that is.
Yeah.
And there was a scene I particularly remember in the movie where the main guy's going on a date in the virtual world, where you can pick whatever you want to look like and so on. And he picks an outfit, and he asks for someone's opinion, and they go, "Oh, you're not seriously going as Buckaroo Banzai, are you?" And he's wearing the suit with the flipped collar and the tie. So basically, the outfit he's wearing on stage when they do their concert.
Oh yeah.
And I just was always really curious as to where that reference was. It was obviously, it sounds like a cool name. I didn't know if it was a video game or a movie or a comic book or whatever it is. And because there's so many 80s references in that film and that book, and this was one of the only ones I didn't get, I thought, well, I better find out what it's all about, clearly.
And now you know.
And now I know. It popped up on Prime. I thought, well, now is the time to find it out.
Movies we think you'll like.
Yeah.
And did Prime get it right?
Did I like this? I liked bits of it. I liked the style. I thought it was kind of cool. It did seem slightly odd having such... Well, sometimes the effects were okay, and sometimes it was just guys in rubber masks that looked a bit shit.
It was guys in rubber masks. What I thought was odd about that is the moments in which they chose... Because it gave the impression that they could, like, basically... They were changelings. The times at which they chose to be themselves and which times they chose to project themselves as humans.
I think you can only see them as the aliens if you had that weird zap thing happen to you. So there's the little nuance there you might not have picked up on.
I mean, I checked in and out a lot with this film.
I did check. Yeah, the second half of the film, my eyelids were heavy.
Hanging on for dear life.
I really was. And it was kind of camp and it was funny in bits. But, I mean, for me, when I think of Eighth Dimension, I was thinking of he's going to go to a crazy new world or, but we don't really see much of the Eighth Dimension.
He's going to go to a factory in downtown Los Angeles. Or a suburb of Los Angeles. And that's what he's going to do. And he's not going to go... He's got this team of double R bastards with him.
Yeah.
All carry guns on stage and everywhere they go. But he's not going to take them with him. He's just going to go in on his own.
Well, he's just a lone wolf, cool guy.
In his oscillation overthruster car thing. And every time he appeared on screen, like, boom, boom, boom.
I liked the music. The soundtrack was cool.
It's quite
especially at the end, where they're doing the credits thing, where they're all doing their walk.
I mean, what is that all about?
I don't know, but it was just achingly cool. If you did that now, it'd seem a bit cheesy and crap. But because it's 80s, I just liked it. I
did like the bit. I watched those credits a long way into those credits, a lot further than I really should have.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was a bit where like they're all walking along, and like the guys at the back are like really desperately trying to catch up.
Yeah,
slow down.
They're like double time.
And then like Jeff Goldblum comes in from the side in his cowboy outfit. Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know, just something very, very cool about it. And as you said, that's when they. Kinda.
I have to say, I'm man enough to admit, like, I've seen Peter Weller in other things, as I said, namely RoboCop.
Yeah.
He's in his day, he was a seriously good-looking lad, wasn't he?
Oh, handsome man.
Oh, very
handsome.
He doesn't quite look like that in RoboCop.
Well, no. When he gets shot to pieces fairly early on and rebuilt as a cyborg.
Quite, but no, very striking young man.
He was. Yeah. Good shot as well.
But I mentioned earlier, one thing the credits, or the closing credits at least, does mention is to keep an eye out for the sequel.
Yeah.
I think they got a bit ahead of themselves because that sequel never happened, did it?
No.
At least I can't. Unless it's just been expunged from the records because there's nothing.
Maybe. No, there's no record of it. Buckaroo Banzai versus the World Crime League or something like that.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. No, the promised sequel never materialised as far as I could see. But I liked, for no reason at all the aliens are called John.
No, there was a reason for that.
What was the reason?
There was a reason. It's because this is the whole thing about them being Martians. So there's the whole War of the Worlds thing, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. Actually, that was quite a nice...
That was quite a good tie-in, I thought. That was all right. And like basically, what if
the
it
H.G.
actually
Wells
happened?
thing?
Yeah, so it was all about
It's a
that and
cover
about
up.
the fact that it was a cover up for them landing in 1938, basically.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that and the fact, and what was it? I can't remember. They'd stumbled across some book where someone's called John, so they've all called themselves John.
Yeah. Yeah, John Big Booty.
John O'Connor, Big Booty.
Big Booty, John Parker.
What was the one? There was one
hilarious.
of the, the bit where they go at the end and they're trying to get past the security guards.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember.
There was one of the security guards. I can't remember his name, but like they said, yeah. So you're Officer Smallberries or something like that.
There's really random acts of hilarity.
One of the things I just thought I found amazing about this is like the amount of. Don't get me wrong. I know it's a lot earlier in all their careers, but the cast they managed to get for it is amazing.
I think they probably picked them at a time before they were like mega famous.
Exactly.
But they did well to assemble a cast of people who went on to all become big stars in their own right.
Yeah, quite.
They've done well there. But okay, so I have sated my thirst for wanting to know what this was all about. That's done now.
Are you satisfied? Are you satisfied that you now know what this film is?
Yes.
And whether you may choose to watch it again, I don't know, but you certainly don't have to. There's no obligation.
Well, what I will do again, I will watch Ready Player One again.
Yes.
Hopefully with someone, and when that scene comes up, I'll be like, "Oh, Buckaroo Banzai, yeah, tell you all about that."
Oh yeah.
That's that W.D. Richter film from 1984.
W.D. Richter. We've not mentioned the director, have we? Yeah.
Have now.
Poor old W.D. Richter. But I mean, they've, it's one of those things. Actually, I was watching it with the kind of, considering it is early 80s.
Yeah.
It's fairly. I would say it's a pretty well put together piece.
It is. Yeah.
Very sharp, like good cinema.
Yeah, it does.
Reasonably good cinematography.
I think because retro is the 80s period stuff is very much on vogue at the moment, so it doesn't feel like it's aged as much as I think. If we'd have watched this 10 years ago, it probably would have felt older than it does now in a anachronistic sort of way.
Maybe, but I don't know. But just there wasn't for me. There wasn't. It just didn't feel like a particularly big world. You know what I mean? Everything felt a bit small. Everything felt a bit small and a little bit kind of Sunday afternoon telly type. Yeah, it wasn't. There wasn't a lot of world building going on, and they didn't. As I mentioned earlier, like there's no. At the core of the story, apparently the world is under threat and is about to be blown up.
It's sort of a minor plot point, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of no one's really pressing any alarm bells on that.
Yeah,
and it's
and
kind of. Even
some
of
the Martians are here to help. Some of them are evil.
Yeah, and even when he goes
things,
into the factory at the end, to kind of, it feels like he's going more to save Penny than he is to save the world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
which I don't. But anyway, I haven't got a lot more to say on the subject.
No.
6.2.
Yeah, I hate to say, I think that's a little bit generous. I think this is mid to late fives.
I'm going to say 5.
Even 5.
I applaud the effort. I applaud the idea, but it's just this is not. Again and again, I will emphasise the fact that a 10-year-old me may have felt very differently.
Yeah,
probably definitely would have felt very differently.
Yeah, if we had that heritage with it, maybe we'd be looking on it a bit more fondly.
Yeah, a bit like, I don't know, Masters of the Universe. Actually, I'm going to use Masters of the Universe as my bar for this. I think this is worse than Masters of the Universe.
Oh, that's strong.
Yeah,
that is strong.
I
mean, you're probably right, but that is strong.
I felt you may disagree with that. But no, it's I think 6.2.
Masters of the Universe.
When I saw this at a 6.2, I was like, oh, it'd probably be all right.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be better for that.
I'm not going to lie. I watched the first 20 minutes and I went back and checked. I was like, did I read it right? 6.2?
Sure it's not 2.6?
Yeah.
Read it backwards.
Sure we're not watching whatever, Space Truckers or...
Space Truckers,
This is better than Space Truckers.
Star Slammer.
I will say that. This is better than Space Truckers. It's better than Star Slammer.
Okay. It's not the worst film we've reviewed.
No, not by a stretch. Not by a stretch. It's like I say, it's good. There's some good performances in it, good stuff. Some reasonably good action.
Yeah.
It didn't feel to me. It didn't feel like a movie. It felt like something that should have been it should have been a Sunday afternoon TV series.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there is a certain kind of thrill in seeing big name stars being in something so shoddy, isn't there? It's just kind of a little treat.
Yeah.
To see him slumming it a little bit.
Quite.
I like that.
So, but no. Like I say, it wasn't completely terrible, but 6.2 I feel is very generous.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. Well, let's draw a line under that then, shall we?
Let's move along.
Move along to Last Chance Cinema Club.
Oh, who said? Well, hang on. No,
What?
you're right. It is that next. Yes. So, Last Chance Cinema Club. Stefford, what will be leaving Prime in the next 7 days that may take our fancy?
Only 3 movies.
Wow.
To note.
The
Not
best.
just because I did it this before recording.
So Buckaroo, Banzai, and the Ninth
And
Dimension.
Masters of the Universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, 3 movies. Go on.
3 movies. Future World, which I didn't even know existed. It is. You remember Westworld? There's an old Westworld movie with Yul Brynner in it.
Yeah.
This was a sequel
What?
based on another Michael Crichton book.
From a similar time period, like the 70s, 80s?
Yeah, very similar. In fact, it's still got Yul Brynner in it.
Okay.
It's pretty much the same character.
All right.
So in the Westworld novel, Westworld's only one of multiple worlds, and they actually do pick this up in later Westworld TV series.
Okay.
In the later series, where there's not just Westworld, there's also like Samurai World,
Yeah.
some other world. Well, there's Future World as well. As if sentient robots weren't futuristic enough, they had to have a future world.
Oh.
So I didn't even know this film existed, but it does, and it's disappearing in a few days, so might not get a chance to see it.
Well, let's see what the other 2 are. Let's see what I fancy.
The next one, I don't actually know anything about this one. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Robot Jocks.
No.
Ever heard of that? I don't know anything about it.
I have to
haven't
say,
looked it up.
judging it on nothing but the title, it doesn't sound that appealing.
It's a 1989 movie,
Right.
post-apocalyptic mecha science fiction,
Okay.
according to Wikipedia.
Right. To Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's the first hit.
Right.
IMDb 5.5, so possibly worse than Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, but we'll see. And the last movie, which is a very good movie, is Little Shop of Horrors.
Yay! Well, there you go. That's 1 out of 3.
I love that film.
Although I've seen
really
Little Shop
like
of Horrors, and the Future World. Future World sounds.
Yeah,
interesting.
I might give that a go if I get time.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen it, and I'll honestly say I not normally am a fan of musicals.
Yeah.
But Little Shop of Horrors is brilliant. It's funny. It's really well done. It's got great special effects. It's got some Star Wars ties in it actually, because I think Frank Oz had something to do with it, or Jim Henson, or
Probably.
one of those guys was involved in the big man-eating plant.
Yeah. I'm just doing a little bit of extra research on Future World. It's got 5.7. So that's kind of nailed it for me. I too am not. I always say this, and I don't know if we've had this conversation before. Like, I go and watch musicals, and like I find myself every time I watch a musical, pretty much be like, I'm not really into musicals, but I really like that one.
Yeah,
and at some point,
that a few times.
At some point, I have to admit, I might actually like musicals.
Well, I'm still in the denial phase of toxic masculinity, so let me revel in that for a bit longer.
At some point, I'm going to have to be like, yeah, actually, I think musicals are my thing.
I actually just like musicals.
Yeah,
there's nothing more to say. Yeah, yeah. At some point, I'll have to get there too. But
it does depend. It does depend. There are some that are very good and some that are less.
Yeah, you can say that about any movie genre.
No, I know, but it's. I think particularly with musicals, when done badly, when it's just people singing
They're
at each
more
other.
of a chore, aren't they?
Oh God, just stop singing at each other.
I thought that when I saw my first opera, and they literally sing everything. Even it's like, what do you want for breakfast?
Did that take you by surprise?
I would like cornflakes. I don't know why I thought there'd be some normal speaking in there as well. But
opera. That's really famous for people not singing, right?
Yeah. I thought. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm
So
an uncultured swine.
Have you
what
been to
can
see
I
any
say?
operas since?
No.
Which opera
One
did
and
you
done.
see?
La Traviata.
Oh, La Traviata. Good place to start.
Yeah, it was. People were weeping. All around me, people were weeping. I was like, well, yeah, I guess it's kind of sad, but it's not real.
Excuse me, I prefer my art with zero emotion, please.
Well, I was just... I wish I was that moved by it.
By
I
anything.
wish I was. By anything, yeah.
My heart wasn't so cold
Nothing.
and dead.
Nothing brings me to... The only thing that brings me to tears is when Michael hugs Fredo in Godfather 2
Oh.
at the mum's funeral. That's the only thing that moves me to tears.
Oh.
Oh, and you're getting emotional just thinking
sends
about
him out,
it.
Sends him out on a fishing boat.
Yeah.
Oh, every time I stick the line in, I say Hail Mary.
Every time I caught a fish.
Yes.
Blammo! Oh, he drowned with a massive bullet wound to his head.
Massive bullet wound and a rock tied to his leg.
So unfortunate what happened.
Poor lad. Poor lad.
Could
Right.
happen to anyone.
Anyway, very good. Yeah, so I would watch Little Shop of Horrors. What are you going to watch?
Little Shop of Horrors.
What would you
I'm gonna
watch?
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's your last chance cinema club for
Very
this
good.
week.
Right. Thoughts turn to what we're going to be watching next week
They do.
for Second Chance Cinema Club.
Wowzers.
Option 1 or option 2, Stefan?
Option 2, please.
Oh.
Oh, don't do this.
Oh.
He always does this.
No, this is exciting. Hang on, I've got...
Is it Godfather Part 2?
It is not The Godfather Part 2.
Oh,
It's not The Godfather Part 2.
it's never the Godfather Part 2. It's not even Godfather 3.
Yet.
Oh.
Not The Godfather yet. To be fair, you've had The Godfather this year. You've done well out of that.
I have done very well.
No, it is something a bit more recent than that. It's a 2020 film,
Okay.
which I can tell you.
Just a quarter of a century old then.
What?
Just a quarter of a century old then.
A 2020 film.
Oh, 2020. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is 20.
Yeah.
It's 2075, isn't it?
A century's 20 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
2020 film. I'll give you the...
All right, half a decade.
I'll get the bad news out of the way first. It's 2.5 hours long. It is, though, rated at 7.3 on IMDb.
You're getting a treat.
And it is science fiction.
Okay, I'm interested.
It,
2020.
among its stars, has Elizabeth Debicki.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael
Caine
Caine.
in sci-fi.
Yes. Robert Pattinson.
Oh.
John David Washington. And it is directed. Actually, another star of it. I think. Actually, I don't know why he's not. He doesn't appear on the list, but I'm fairly certain he's in this. I'm pretty sure Kenneth Branagh's in this.
Oh.
He must be in it.
I feel like I should know this.
I'm sure he's in it. Where is he? Have I missed
This
something?
Mandela effect.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe he's not. Maybe I'm getting confused with a different film. But no.
So you picked the right one.
Directed by Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
It is called, Stefan?
Tenet.
Yes.
Yes. Got there in the end.
Yes. So it's called Tenet. And my reason for picking this is because I really need to watch it again because I still don't understand it.
I agree. I haven't seen it since the cinema. I've been saying for ages I need to rewatch this.
Good.
So
now is your opportunity.
You have chosen well.
Yes.
Or I've chosen well, but you selected well.
You chose well.
I did choose well.
Good.
Did
So-
choose well.
Yes, we will be watching that this week. And
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Well, to be fair, Buckaroo Banzai was 1 hour and 40 minutes. And that felt like 4 years. So
It's all relative, I
it's all
suppose.
relative, yeah. But yeah,
At least I can have the subtitles on this
Tenet
time.
is something. I mean, this Tenet is what I feel Second Chance Cinema Club was invented for.
Oh, yes. We've come home.
Yeah, we've got
Theme-wise.
yeah, and just it needs a rewatch.
You're right.
I owe it a rewatch. I think if I've probably watched it 4 or 5 times,
Wow, really?
I think I just about get it.
Oh, you got a massive advantage. I've only seen it once.
I don't know, 4 or 5 times, maybe exaggeration, maybe twice. But
This director ever done anything else? I'm not aware of his
Christopher Nolan.
previous body of work.
I don't know. He's done a few things, I think.
Has he?
Yeah.
Anything of note? I don't think so.
He did some superhero films. I can't remember what they were.
Oh, right.
He did something about night terrors.
Spider-Man.
No.
Oh.
No, he's done, as I think you are more than aware, Stefan, he's done lots of other fantastic work. And this is among them, I would say.
Yeah.
And
you're the president of his fan club.
I went to a school around the corner from us. I know that.
Good for him.
Good for him. I was a school that neither of us were going to go to, but hey.
It's a very fancy private school.
Yes. So, do you want to mention this? He went to Haileybury.
I think I did. I think you have mentioned that.
Yeah. So
I just chose to forget it.
Forget it. Don't care. Anyway, that's Tenet. We will be watching that, and that is available on. I hope it's available on Prime. And you didn't mention it's leaving, so they're going to be for at least another 7 days, unless you saw it on the list and just went, "Yeah, it's not important."
I'm not gonna. Well, yeah, I'm not interested in that.
So we've got 5 hours left.
Yeah,
I need to watch it now. So yeah, we'll watch that and talk about it next week.
Look forward to it.
Any other business, Stefan, before we leave?
No other business.
Good.
Zero other business.
Well, thank you everyone for listening, and we shall catch up with you next week.
See you later. Thank you, David. Bye-bye.